Hi everyone and welcome to the second edition of the J&S Podcast. This week we have another Warrick Rocket League themed podcast with our social sec Henry. We're going to talk about topics such as how he built the server, his role as social sec, his place in the competitive scene, and we're going to have a quick discussion about second and third year accommodation for Warwick Uni.
Yay.
Woohoo!
So Henry, do you want to tell us a bit about yourself?
So you know my name's Henry, or Koch Henners, not Cock Henners, just Koch Henners. I'm social sec of esports. I'm a second year discrete maths at Warrick. I'm from Leicester. Yeah, fucking Leicester's great, innit?
Not too far then.
Yeah, no, it's what 50 minutes, and then I was born in Bromley, which is Kent, so south of London. So that's why my accent's janky, but yeah.
All over the place, all over the country.
It really is.
So should we start off talking about the server then? So what did the server look like back at the start of last year?
I literally the only thing it had in common was maybe general and the logo. The logo, I don't actually know who the logo was drawn by, but the XX Rocket League coordinator was a guy called Rob.
Yeah, Rob RL.
Yeah, he was a cool guy, but he had loads of friends in his year, so I think he's in third year as we speak, which is the year beginning 2016. So his friends, or he had a friend who was good at graphic design, and they drew the little logo, which has got the Rocket League ball, the little aerial wings,
To be fair, it's a nice logo.
It's nice, yeah. I think it's probably the only thing that's kind of stayed the same. I mean, the old server was it was Rob because he kind of ought to make one because he was told to by the other exec, plus a couple of keen beans, namely Isaac and Jake.
So it was you, Isaac, and Jake, and then
Marin was there.
Marion was there, yeah.
Yeah, because Marin's a resit, so
there was about
he was
6 people when we joined, and we were.
Yeah, he was fresh when I was fresh, and starting 2017 into 18,
doing
and
his
then
chemistry, I guess.
and then binned it and came back again. So he was there, and there was a couple of other people in there. So Dan Bridges,
Of course.
he's not massive in RL, but he does fighting games.
He's been about, hasn't he?
He's been about. He played in T2C. Good guy. I think Dan M was in there. I mean, obviously Rob was in there, but I genuinely can't remember anyone else. And then I got coordinator last Easter. So that's the 2018 Easter, and then
just before we joined.
Yeah. So then I kind of binned off everything that was there. I changed something. I made the little like roll colours so that people got coloured by their highest rank.
I remember that. I was
a
little diamond back in the day.
Yeah, the little the sort of like intense blue or the purple or the GC pink or whatever it was. But then I realised that was a bit kind of self-segregating in a way. Because people who weren't champ were probably less confident.
I was trembling. I was so scared.
You see big boys, right? And you're like,
I'm playing with Isaac, Jake. Who are these guys? They're grand champs.
Exactly. So then I binned that off, and I realised that the server was so dead. I just made a new one because I wanted to be.
The server was very dead, and to be honest, it was like really hard to find.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So what did you do to gain this kind of following? Because now we're on 60 members, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah, so 60 sounds it sounds pathetic from a third party.
But... No, it's incredible.
Well, given 10 months, it's all right. Yeah. So the minimum. So I've looked. So you get Discord join URLs, right, and the server tracks how many clicks you get, how many joins you get via that link. We've had 75 or 76 joins in total, meaning a few people have left, but that's quite normal, or I've pruned them for not being active. And you're right, that's jokes. And I found there's basically 2 links with all of the traffic. The first one's the one I made, which I believe is on the Warrick Esports website, warrickesports.gg, and then I believe that's also somewhere dug in a Facebook. And if I link anyone personally, I'll link them through that. So that's the first one. The second one's attached to the Twitch. So in the bottom of the Warrick Esports Twitch, there's just a heap of links, and it's in there. And so people might see us through the stream, or might be interested in other games, see maybe CS:GO being streamed, and then join the Rocket League and CS:GO server by the stream. And that's where all the traffic's come from.
That's where I was looking.
Right.
When I happened to stumble across it, and I was like, all right, okay.
Yeah, it's quite hard to publicize the Discord without kind of just shoving it in people's faces.
Yeah,
So the only way I really thought about kind of it's almost like an advert, right? Getting people aware of where to join would be turning the URL into just a QR code and sticking that on a flyer and just putting that up on.
That's quite nice.
Yeah, right. And then people out of curiosity will scan that, because who doesn't love scanning a QR code, right? And then it'll send you to the server. And then in the occasion that you don't mind Rocket League, you'll stay, right? And that that QR code served its purpose at that point, right? But that's for next year. I think I'm gonna do a lot more during the freshers time with Raz, your guest from last episode, to get more people to join. So as soon as someone even remotely mentions the fact they're interested in Rocket League, we're gonna be on top of them. Shove the Discord
Round
down
their house.
Yeah.
Just knocking on the door, like, join the server. We're not leaving.
Exactly. But yeah, I think what's more impressive isn't really the like number of members in terms of the climb from 8 to 60 or whatever. It's more the retainment. So like the average amount of interest per member of the server's phenomenal, right? So you've got 60 people here, about half players, half guests.
Yeah.
And the average player has a 50-50 whether they'll be active that day. So they'll message in general, or they'll join the general chat, or they'll put a meme in memes or whatever. Whereas on other servers, bigger Discords, that kind of retainment is of like order less. So there's like a tenth of the kind of comeback on members versus engagement. It's kind of like looking at a YouTube channel with a silly number of subscribers, but then the average viewer content per video is nothing. We're really healthy in that sense. So if we continue that type of health and just expand, it'll be the most positive, active Discord in the esports family.
Especially, like, definitely, I'd say in Warrick it is, and like,
yeah, right, 100%.
Over time, there's obviously more people is, I'd say, you'd probably say more difficult to manage. So did you have to ever like change things to account for this like just spike of members over the summer in particular?
Not really, because I kind of expected it, so I kind of preempted, which is why there exists a player at guest. Just so you can sort of differentiate people who want to be involved and who are there but aren't so involved. And then it was but then I wanted user interaction to be kind of more like on a personal basis, right? So when you're talking to someone online and they've got just a mash of characters as their username, like mine, right? You don't feel like you're talking to a human. You feel like you're talking to some like,
it could be anyone,
angry gamer, right? So you feel like you're not interacting to a person. So I wanted to name people by their first name, so that people could interact with one another and get to know each other by their name. And then, you know, they might ask if they're fresh as well. And, you know, you could make a friendship quite quickly by knowing someone's first name, and it just doubles the speed in which you get to know people. But then I found out everyone in the world is called bloody Dan, so I had to stick initials on the end of people's names. And then I realized everyone was called Dan and had the same initials, so then I had to well, actually everyone's called Alex. There's like 7 Alexes in the server. It's stupid.
That's crazy.
I think one of them might have left.
I guess.
Yeah, right. And so I well, it wasn't my idea. Danners, he came up with the little nickname in quotes.
Oh,
it's cute.
Oh yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, he mentioned it when
I like
we were
that
on
one.
one of our socials. It was nice.
It's more like personal to like the server, you know.
Yeah, right. And it gives a bit of flair. It makes it more exciting to like it's just a bit of fun. And then Tim worked on a bot that can automatically change your name.
That's
so
really
then you
useful.
can just be you and claim your ID. Because the only problem with naming yourself by your first and last name is it's quite stale and it's quite box standard and boring. So the nicknames give a bit more like personality to you. So you kind of have your own in Warrick Rocket League alias, if you will, that you sort of go by.
Okay, so let's talk about your competitive play now. So at the beginning, you won Arrowly, didn't you? How was that?
Yeah, that was good fun. This was Easter 2018, so about a year and a half ago. So it was me, Isaac and Jake, who we'd sort of slowly become friends over time. So I met them about Christmas, and we just played loads of Rocket League together. And then over time, I got to know who they were, and then we ended up having a right laugh together and playing threes in our own time. And then we played in Arrow League, which was, I guess, the first inter-uni competition under
NSE.
under the NSE wing. It wasn't NSE back then; that was before the NSE brand had been built. But it was run by the admins that run the NSE tournaments now. It just didn't have any funding, so it was all done. It's sort of like a big community event. Everyone was contributing, and we at the time were kind of predicted in the range of like 5th through 7th, I guess. I remember having a discussion with Jake, and I said, "Would you predict the outcome?" And I said 5th would be nice, 4th on a good day, 6th on a bad day, and maybe 7th or 8th if we spaff something. And that was what we predicted. But then the run through, so the Arrow League was a funny tournament. There was a weird kind of seeding where they took your average rank and put you in a seeding from like first to last, then played, I think it was 4 or 5 best of 3s to then reseed you and then put you in some sort of elimination,
so
which
was
was
a bit like NSC, because they have the qualifiers. Right. There's like where you are seeded, but then you do play matches. It's thorough nowadays, though. Like they make sure it's a bit better.
Yeah, the way NSC works is a bit weird. It's I think it's like linear. I think it's got a name. It's like Linear League or something like that. It's strange and it creates interesting circumstances, but generally speaking, it's fair. Like if A beats B and B beats C, then you can safely assume that A is better than C. That's kind of what you want to follow in tournaments, and NSC does that well. The Our League tournament scheme was alright because there was only 30 teams, I believe, or 34, so there wasn't a need for a ridiculously accurate seeding because there's only 34 teams. Most of the games are going to happen, and it was basically a small seeding event into a knockout, which was single elimination, and we came out winning most of the seeding games, and then our run was unbelievable. I believe it was 3-0, 3-0, 3-1, 3-0, 4-2.
So
it was
you and I were getting carried the whole way.
Walked to the final.
Yeah, Jake's kind of nuts. At the time, I think that was probably one of the best I've ever played. I think Isaac has probably improved since, but me and Isaac were really hot on those days. So yeah, it was definitely a team effort, though Jake's back definitely did most of the lifting. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and back then there was not much management, so there's a lot more shit chat. So it was a bit more, it's a bit more raw, and there was a bit more on the line. There was a lot more pride because people don't really care about the result of NSC after it goes. To be honest, the prizes are great.
Yeah, like you want to win it, but
and you celebrate. But yeah, there was slightly less than friendly rivalries back then, which have definitely been quashed now. Like it's much more friendly.
Really
now,
friendly in like the NSE server. Like
right,
chilling nowadays.
Yeah, it's good.
If you want to talk to the boys, you can.
Yeah, and I think it's a good thing for sure. But Arrow League was fun, and it was the first one. And Arrow League was then followed up by a summer split, if you will, which was a similar thing in the summer, leading out at the end of that year. But no one really signed up because people are busy in the summer, and we ended up playing a match or two and then just forfeiting because we realised we were busy and it was just a bit of a waste of time.
Summer's a tough one, and I guess it might be the same this summer if Warrick do enter a team, but we've got so many members, I guess.
Right.
You can find
I reckon we're going to put 2 teams in.
That's pretty
by my
decent,
judge.
to be fair.
Yeah. I'm not 100% sure what's happening. I know that I definitely won't be playing, but I guess that's probably a good thing. So yeah, we'll find out.
Well, anyway, would you say that winning Arrow League was your best Rocket League moment?
That's a hard question. My personal most favourite moment, do you mean?
Yeah.
Nah, there's got to be the promotion games at GC.
Oh, I guess when you hit that.
When I hit GC, because obviously
that.
Yeah, right, because I was such a little virgin then, so it was it's like the only thing I cared about.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it's really exciting when you get there. That was a long time ago. That was over 2 years ago now. But yeah, I remember the game that I got promoted so well. So I guess that's probably the most fun I've ever had. Outside of the first games I ever played, because the first games you play are always a right laugh. But yeah, I think winning Arrow League was probably quite satisfying because there was nothing on the line. It was just pride. It wasn't satisfying
It wasn't like
It's hard to explain. I think getting promoted to the NSC finals in season 1 with Warden and Isaac was actually more satisfying because there were much bigger names in these tournaments.
Yeah, pretty more.
And these teams.
Well, I guess like there's so many players. There's more players now anyway.
Yeah, like Matt M and Doppler and Astral and
good players. Yeah.
Jeff and Rafro are all absolutely nuts, and like beating or drawing or at least coming even-ish with them was kind of nuts.
Yeah,
and then
we always had those satisfying games, like even down in our like southern tier, where we'd play a team we knew were better than us and give it a really good go and be like, we did pretty well there.
Yeah, and when you're doing that against what you consider to be the best players in the UK university scene, if you will, it's really satisfying when you come out on top. And so I guess getting promoted, I mean, we end up coming 5th, which wasn't the best result we could have had, but it was still really fun to get there. And it was definitely more satisfying because there was more teams involved, so you're sort of you're on top of a bigger pile, which makes, from like the winning point of view, is more satisfying. So yeah, that was good. But then I realised that I was probably the weakest link. Right.
And then the downfall.
Yeah. So I guess I took a bit of a step back in the sense that I kind of kept playing a little bit, but I just can't keep up with how much some people play.
Oh, no. They played
Unreal.
Someone got 50 plus hours. And to be fair, me and James definitely did that when we were really into the game.
Yeah, it's hard not to sometimes when you're really
the motivation to just do like the same thing over and over again when we're not ranking up is like, it's so hard to grind from Champ 2 to higher. Like,
it really is.
It's such a struggle.
Yeah, and you have to be playing with someone you enjoy playing with. I literally won't ever solo queue anymore unless I'm so bored.
I just queue casual if I was that bored. Even then, I rarely ever.
Yeah, it just feels like there's no point.
There's so many people in the server nowadays. Like,
yeah, you can just play a casual 2s or a 6-bands, which is great. Yeah. That's probably my most favourite bit about Rocket League at the moment is just being able to play with people you know. Because in the past it would always be, I'm the best Rocket League player out of my group of mates at school, so I have to like solo queue rank to get a good game. So in like year 13 or whatever, Rocket League was just a sap of my time, and it was just depressing. Solo queuing is depressing.
There wasn't a lot to do at A-levels, let's face it.
No, right. But so then when you played with your mates, it was fun because you're playing with your mates, but then if your mates were shit, then it was kind of also a little bit shit.
It's hard on them because they're just getting scored on everywhere.
Right, yeah. But now you're playing with people as good or better than you, and you know them. It makes the game twice as fun. It makes it hard to solo queue after playing it, right?
Yeah, I think it's much more of a grind after you've experienced like ranking up with a teammate that's actually very good as well. Anyway, I guess now we're going to talk about your new role.
Right.
You are recently appointed the social sec of Warrick Esports.
Congratulations.
Yes, mate.
So,
thank you, I suppose. Yeah.
Well, what we wanted to know was, at what point did you think I want to go for this role? Because you definitely said to us you wanted to go for it. Why were you like drawn to this role?
I found out by being Rocket League coordinator that the like being, I guess, part of the organization and being part of the leadership team, if you will, is fun in a sense. It's like character building, because I like when you're at school, right? In sixth form or secondary school, there was always like head boy and head girl of the year, and there'd always be like the confident guys and gals that would go for it, and that was like never me. And like you just you kind of like, they were like the popular lot, and I was just there like, nah, I'm gonna solo queue Rocket League and play Minecraft, right?
Yeah, of course.
So then I kind of thought I wanted to push myself out there a little bit more and be a bit more social when I got to uni. And
that's sort of like what Raz said, to be fair, like pushing himself out of his comfort zone. Raz said he worded it in his podcast.
Yeah, I don't think comfort zone's necessarily fair because it's still gaming and Rocket League, but like pushing myself to sort of do more than I thought I would want to. I guess like if I wanted to push myself out of my comfort zone, I'd go for Prez, but then I just don't know how to like organize money that well, so it's probably a stupid idea.
Story,
but no, I guess I went for it because I find it satisfying in the sense that it's fun to make decisions. It's hard to disagree with that, but not in a weird way, just in the sense that just in the sense that it's kind of it's nice to be a part of something that's changing. And I can look at the server right now and see, like 100 messages in the last day, and know that people on the server are talking to each other and enjoying a conversation.
At player, I guess.
Yeah, right. And they're having a conversation and making friends with one another. And most of them probably would have never met each other had that server not exist.
Living with each other.
Yeah, right. That's absolutely nuts to know that like that server and just playing Rocket League together is enough of a relationship to like live together, like Danners and Walden next year. That is enough for me to want to put effort in, because I know that people are directly benefiting from. It's not really much effort from me, and I kind of enjoy it. So I see people benefiting from the effort I put in. It makes it all the more worthwhile, and it's kind of fun just to like have a community of people. Like sort of, I kind of created a space for people that are like-minded to join. And so, in a sense, I kind of found friends in it for myself. It sounds really stupid that way,
obviously.
But I'm also doing it simultaneously for everyone else who also joins. And so then you have like a collective of people that you want to talk to, and they want to talk to each other, and that's why I like doing it. And I guess that's why I push for social, because I thought Rocket League's fun and all, but if I'm enjoying this, why not just push to do it on a slightly bigger scale? And I guess that's why. And also getting absolutely trolleyed and having a laugh is.
We were going to talk about that. Like in terms of socials. So, I guess in terms of socials with esports society.
Right.
It's kind of, maybe it's not the biggest drinking society in the world, but
it's almost like taboo, right, to say I drink and I play games.
We wanted to know, like, what socials are you planning on introducing? Because we know last year there was a lot of kind of meals out, which is obviously a great social. And do you want more drinking socials, more non-drinking socials?
I think
do with that.
The short answer is just more socials. So, by answering all of your questions, yes. So, literally, I want to host, not necessarily one a week or anything. I'm not going to like put a schedule on it, but last year the ex-social sec, she was sort of hit and miss when the socials ran. It was infrequent, but it wasn't like there was nothing. But I want a lot of the socials last year, at least 60 LANs, and I don't need to organize LANs because they just happen by themselves because of all of the like league guys and all of the other exec do that. So I'm going to take a step back from. I mean, I'll help with LANs, but not directly. I'm going to do more meals, because I think one of the most successful socials last year was the freshers meal to the varsity pub, just outside Warrick. Yeah. I went to that. Walden went to that. They were the only Rocket League guys that I knew. But there was like 40 people there. It was genuinely really good. It was a good chat with. You got to meet new people, and it was like close, and the food there's all right, and it was good fun. So I'm going to plan on recreating stuff like that, and maybe going to the Duck a bit more and just having a laugh. Yeah. But then I also want to do drinking socials, because the only drinking socials that esports have, I guess, have been a circle pre-pop in the copper rooms, CR1. And that looked good. There was only like 15 people there, so I hope to push those numbers up. But
if you get Rocket League involved,
I double their numbers instantly,
right? Few, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a few drinkers in there.
There are. They're sprinkled, right? So maybe doing another circle, maybe like one circle a term, and then doing another drinking social where there's like a blem, or it's kind of a more casual thing where we go to like a freshers kitchen and just get fucked.
More like school days.
Yeah, yeah, right. But yeah, I have plans for that, but I think I want to be a little bit more creative. I think the ones that, if I were to answer the question with what am I most excited by, are the sort of non-esports socials. It sounds really dumb, but I want to host a massive dodgeball. Just a massive dodgeball. Maybe at a tournament if we get enough people, but if not, just like 20v20 dodgeball, where we like host a room in the sports centre, put up an event on the Facebook group and whatnot, and just get anyone who's a member of esports to just come along. Yeah. And just literally randomly put people in
that does sound really good. Obviously, esports is it's tough to get people to come to socials, because it's obviously less people are socially outgoing. Do you have any ideas on how you might sort of entice more people to come and try it out?
Yeah, so I think that it's hard to just persuade someone who really likes to stay inside, play games, to say, oh, come out, play dodgeball, come out, do this, come out, do that. They're probably just going to tell me to fuck off, that's fair game. So I'm going to time it. I think rather than trying to persuade people to come, I'm just gonna make it an available option. So I'm gonna time it around the LAN event, so that I'll do it in the afternoon ahead of an evening LAN, so that they could just come in an extra 2 hours early, drop their PC off, come and play dodgeball for an hour, and then play the rest of the evening out on League of Legends, CS:GO, Rocket League, whatever. So I'll have less. It'll be less of a sell, right? I'll be just
People
telling
already
them.
know that they're gonna have to go out that day and sort of do something.
Exactly. And I think my plan is that I'll host something moderately big near the start of Freshers in Term 1 next year. And if, as soon as I get people going, and if they enjoy it, I know my retainment will be higher. So I need to set a good precedent by timing a really good social at the start of the year, and then everything will just sort of follow and swing into place. And as soon as, like, if you have a friend who goes to a good social, they'll always recommend that you join them on the next one. They're like, oh yeah, that pub was sick, come with me, mate. I'm going to try and plan to be like that, in a sense that I get people going, and then they basically do the advertisement for me. Yeah, and they drag their friends along with them. I haven't had loads of ideas. It's not been at the forefront of my mind, but I guess dodgeball's been one of them. And then doing like a sort of esport / gamer / general knowledge pub quiz, so like a normal pub quiz.
A quiz would be good, yeah, because like that gets everyone. Like everyone loves.
Yeah,
quiz.
And then have a section, just like one, a fifth, say, dedicated to gaming, and have questions from every game under the umbrella that we support. And then have people in teams of 5, so then you're kind of, and have a genuine, a decent prize on it. So then people are kind of motivated to join teams with people from other games. So then you're meeting people that you perhaps haven't spoken to before, and therefore you're making friends whilst playing a pub quiz and hopefully getting a few bevs down you and winning a prize.
I think that's a really good idea, actually. Yeah, I'd definitely go to that.
Yeah, and if it's all on campus, right, you get half the freshers going because it's just local.
Yeah, and then we'll get to the talk about Leamington and Kennelly in a bit.
Oi.
Local.
So yeah, but other than that, I don't think I have much else to say about socials, because I either haven't thought about it, or anything I do know I'm probably just blanking on right now.
Anyway, final kind of question before we have more of a discussion about accommodation.
Yes, mate.
I guess it's more of a negative one, but do you ever have problems with members of the server?
Like, I have problems with members of the server?
Or the society, just like hard to organise, like don't respond or something?
Well, there's a bit of drama in the league Discord. I don't know their name, but one of the users on there has basically just been like straight flaming us on Twitter and our Discord. They've been quite abusive, to put it lightly, and then calling the exec Nazis and everything. Dealing with them's just a bit. They're just being dickheads, to put it kindly.
Yeah, definitely.
So you just mute them and tell them to shut up for a bit, then unmute them later and see if twat again, and then just repeat.
Probably haven't been kicked.
They have been, I think.
Fair enough.
I've not been part of it because it started before I really knew anything about it. So the other side of it is, have you heard of Gore?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's quite a big face in Warrick League of Legends.
Is he?
Yeah, he actually is. So I'll give you. This is fun. I'll try and make the story as quick as possible. So I don't know when it started, but it must have been for a Newell tournament. Newell being National University Esports League. I'm going to say competitor to NSC, but I shouldn't be saying that. They are the competitor to NSC, but NSC don't compete. NSC are open and would like to coexist.
They run in parallel.
They run in parallel, yeah. Really good.
A similar thing, but
Newell's been here longer, and they've been running tournaments with bigger prizes for a long time. So generally speaking, unis care about the Newell prizes more. So as a player, so long as the tournament format's fine, the Newell prizes are great. So people play, and they get big turnout. And the league dudes at Warrick are really good, like really good.
Yeah, I feel like NSC as well. They did really well.
Yeah, it's surprising when they don't come top 2, top 3. So yeah, they're really good. And at the time of the Newell games, I think it might have been a summer competition a couple of years ago, or at least a year and a half. They put up a team who was a bit of a mismatch between their first and second team, I believe. I mean, someone could correct me, but they weren't playing their normal roster, but it was still a very competitive squad. It was because I believe some people were busy, and they didn't name themselves the normal Warrick Grey because they didn't want to. It wasn't the normal squad.
It was them, yeah.
Yeah, so they called themselves Gore Army, which is I believe the name of the like subscribers / followers of Gore on his Twitter and Twitch and whatnot.
Yeah.
Gore is, if you don't know him, quite a controversial League streamer. He's really good at the game, but he's a character. I'll say that much. And there was kind of a lot of memes in the Discord about him, so they named themselves after Gore and his followers as a laugh, and they called themselves the Gore Army. But the team that they put forward, one of the rosters out of the 8 members of the team included 3 alumni, which turned out to be against the regulations of NUL because they'd been like graduated for 2 years.
Oh, right.
So it was the case that they weren't allowed to play, which kind of sucked because they wanted to play, but you know, they had alumni.
Rules are rules. There has to be
rules are rules
somewhere. Yeah.
And so they basically forced them to not play. And because they were called the Gore Army, when it was tweeted out, Gore got tagged in the tweets, which is jokes. And I think the guys at Warrick atted Gore saying, "Oi, mate, have a word with NUL. They're trying to ban us, and we're supporting you." And he did. And he has such a large following of also very colourful and character
loyal fans.
Everyone on the NUL got a lot of hate just because they banned a team under their rules. It was a bit ridiculous, to be honest. It was kind of bad on our half.
It's quite funny though.
We didn't control his actions. It was just supposed to be a joke, and then he made a video and tweeted it at the NUL, basically just telling them they're absolute dickwads and all this. And obviously all of their fans are doing the same thing, so it was a ridiculous amount of negative press for
some
NUL.
Nice thing to happen if you're NUL and you're
right.
You're trying to run these tournaments and then this happens.
Yeah, and they were quite a small organisation. Like, being a university esport is kind of niche, and so being niche and getting negative press could just stomp you into nothing. Fortunately, you'll still exist, but the Gore Army has kind of remained a meme on the server. I believe some teams have been called that. He regularly retweets and tweets back at and has a chat with members of the Warrick Esports exec / league players. But he's such a character. We can't really rely on him for anything. He's kind of like a side image.
Yeah,
so
it's too risky to have him like backing. You're not
backing Warrick, and
it's like with any like promotion though. You don't want to get a controversial celebrity.
And we don't want to be branded as Warrick the people supported someone who was sexist, or Warrick the people who supported someone who was racist.
On the line at some point,
But yeah, I think that's the most interesting thing I can say about competitive esports in the uni, that's a good bit of fun.
It's definitely a story.
It's a good story. Yeah, right. Holla at next question.
Well, that's more or less the end, I'd say. We just want to talk quickly about Leamington versus Canley. Straight off the bat, Leamington or Canley?
Ooh, that's just a big question just to throw at my face.
Yeah, we thought this might be useful for some of the freshers.
Right, yeah, so all you little freshlings and future freshlings.
Yeah, next year especially. Link them the video.
yeah. If you're Rocket League and you've watched this far into the podcast, firstly,
you're probably going to be living in Canley.
You're probably. I love you. I think James and Stuart love you as well. So thank you.
Definitely.
We do. We will abuse you, but we
need views.
Yeah, the content creators. Thank you for sticking around. But if you're a little freshling, I'm going to say Canley, but I'm going to back myself in a minute. What do you say, James? What do you say, Stuart?
I personally would go Canley as well.
I'm just going to back Leamington to get a debate going.
Okay.
I mean, I lived in Lem this year and next year, so obviously I'm just going to go for Leamington.
Embarrassing.
Yeah, much is discussed.
So I'm speaking from Leamington. So I've been living in Leamington this year, and I'm living in next year. I guess the motivation behind Leamington, if you're interested in nightlife and the social side of the day, there's not uni.
There's more things to go out and do. There's a cinema. There's bowling. There's
the parade is. It's a nice town, right? It's a really nice town. You could shop there if your mum comes over. You can nice her by going shopping with her and then
I
get
do go
groceries.
shopping. Get my mum to pay for them. That's
Exactly.
usually what-
But I don't think I really made much of an effect. I didn't take advantage of it. That's what I mean. I wouldn't say it's been useless. Like I'm not sitting in Lem right now, like crying my eyes out, like why have I chosen
hating
Lem?
every choice you've made.
It's
in
great.
your life.
Like if you're a little freshling and you've already decided on where you're living, don't worry about it. It's probably not going to make much difference. But if you're unsure, then if you like going out, Lem. If you don't, Canley.
Canley's definitely more convenient.
I have
Yeah.
I have 2 words about Canley, and they
There
are
are 2 words about Canley.
goodies and chicken.
Are they getting a
don't
little
say
promotion
anything
in this podcast?
We might be best chicken in Canley, and well, better than Leamington as well.
Yeah, the chicken in Leamington's a bit dead, you know.
Raz will back me as well.
Yeah.
I'm living about 7 minutes from the Canon shopping goes, and then that's another 5 minute computer science department. So
Yeah.
it's literally as convenient as it could physically get. So I'm just gonna. Well, I have a bike, so I'll cycle in, but it will just mean that I have to wake up just at the bare minimum. So from a convenience point of view, it's really good. And if I want to go home and just like cook up a lunch, I can go home and cook up a lunch. I can host fucking house parties. I've got
Like last year, just going home. Yeah. Oh, the bus is such a nightmare.
It is a nightmare.
What?
It's a joke.
9 a.m., 10 a.m. There's honestly, it's not worth going, in my opinion.
Also,
You
rush
might as
hour
well
on the
just
way
call
back.
it GG. Yeah.
Like,
Middle of the day's fine, and rush hour on the way back. Yeah, as you said, like 4 till 6 is just a no-go on a weekday.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
at least an hour to get home.
I think something
It's
that
minimum.
people look over about Canley as well is I think you get more space for your money.
Not much, but yeah, I think so. I think I definitely from what I've seen about when viewing properties, you get just a cleaner property. I don't know if that's just a weird coincidence.
Maybe a bit nicer.
Yeah, like they're just presented better
Yeah,
in
Are
the
the
sense
landlord's
that
better, maybe.
Lem
I
is
don't
quite
know.
grimy, to be
I
fair.
guess
Lem,
quite
yeah,
nice.
Lem. Some parts of Lem, especially the south, is
Yeah,
proper gutter
you
filthy.
head over to like Plymouth Place, and it's a scary place out there.
Yeah, like I've got a residence.
Stabbings everywhere.
Henry, I think you should tell the little freshlings about your handprint on your flat.
Yeah, so there was a fantastic fight. I believe it was a reincarnation of a bloody Rocky film. There was I believe intoxicated fella not happy with another fella.
So,
Who knows? There was a bottle thrown around and a lot of hitting, and I believe someone got hit in the head pretty badly, and then obviously they put their hand on their head because they got hit and they were bleeding, and their hand then got covered in blood, and it was just outside in the street next to my house, so they decided to take a tactical lean against the wall, as you would do if you've been hit in the head with a bottle, and left the bloody handprint there, which I believe is still there to this day.
famous for the next tenants.
I would call it a universal house decal. That's what I would call it.
I made a comparison.
It's very rare. Collectible. I'll trade it for 50 keys if anyone wants it.
Well, we'll see if anyone's
50s.
interested down in the comments if they've got this
Yeah.
far.
So have we come to
Yeah.
a conclusion then that Canley's better?
I think Canley's definitely better.
If you
The
want
only
to,
thing is nightlife. And
Yeah.
yeah. So I guess the thing to bear in mind, if you go out every other night, then you might as well in Lem, otherwise you're going to bus back. But
It'll
like,
save you a lot of money if you go out all the time. Yeah, definitely.
yeah, but the thing is, the bus you pay, so the termly or yearly ticket you get with Stagecoach,
Yeah.
ends up working out to be about £2 a day in terms of bus fare. It's kind of ridiculous.
Okay.
That's if you take away the holidays. So if you're paying for holidays, it's about £1.60 or something per day in bus fare.
It's not bad, really.
It's not terrible, but the standard fare's £4, which means
Yeah.
you're only making your money back if you don't get the bus every 3 days, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you've got to go.
So to make the use of Lem, if you're just weighing it up as a chance of going out socialising, then you need to be going twice a week.
Yeah, you've still got to be going campus to make it worth that £330.
Yeah, you've got to be going at least to campus twice a week, or going out twice a week. So if you lived in Canley and only went out once a week, you've just saved money on your bus fare. And also, when you're fucked, you don't really give a shit about getting the bus back. Like it's not a problem. Whereas in the middle of the day, when you're getting the bus to and from lectures, you do care because you're sober and it's really fucking boring
I'm
and
always
hot and sweaty.
exhausted by the end of the bus. I'm so
Yeah.
tired. Whatever time it is, if I've come back from the bus, I'm exhausted. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
what time.
Amen. Fuck the bus. But Lem's really pretty. If you've got
nice. There is nice.
If you've got money as well and you want to live in a nice place, if you sort of live in central North Lem, nearest the parade, there are some like
North Leamington's definitely nicer.
Whereas like Canley on the whole is a bit scabby. There's like it's all kind of the same, where it's all kind of meh. So
it's
if you're
very Coventry, isn't it?
It is very Coventry.
I don't even start on Coventry. Into the discussion.
Coventry's a fucking joke, mate. You might as well just live in Costco's. Like
that's the worst of all the worlds.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I've got stories of like friends getting mugged in the last year from.
To be fair, one of our friends got mugged in Leamington.
Yeah, it's not. I think uncommon is unfair, but common is also unfair. It's infrequent, but like lock your front door, Freshlings. Yeah, bring your key with you. I've had my car wing mirror smashed when it was parked on the street, so like people don't give a shit. Normally, you just fucking put your wing mirror in, which is what I'd done. Like I bashed it into the side of the car so that it wasn't sticking out. And somehow some cunt had like pulled it out and smashed it. Whether it was done by hand or whether someone drove into it, I don't really know. But people have little respect. I think that's the word to say.
It's crazy out parts. There. You walk down the street, something weird will happen.
Yeah, there's some dodge geezer.
Someone will scream at you for no reason. Someone told me to collect 200 and pass go. No reason, no context. Didn't know why. Like, what are you meant to say?
That's jokes, mate. I like that. I'm gonna use that next time. That's my next chat-up line.
Next chat-up line. Anyway, I guess that's more or less concludes Leamington versus Canley, and we've chosen Canley.
Yeah, we're not biased at all.
Very good choice.
No bias here. Yeah, I voted Leamington initially. I've been persuaded really hard.
You said nothing positive.
No, my life is alright. Anyway.
Yeah.
Jefferson Gardens is nice, for anyone wondering.
Yeah, it's a pretty place.
Very nice. And it's big.
Anyway, that more or less concludes what we wanted to talk about on this podcast. It's actually been quite a long one, I think. So
yeah,
it's been a good one.
You can thank my vocal cords. Big up.
Very hard.
Yep. Big up.
Thank you for coming on. Anyway.
Thank you. No, thank you. I appreciate the kind offering, and I hope anyone who's listened to here has enjoyed it.
I hope so too. Like, thank you for watching, everyone. If you've made it this far still.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll leave it there then. So.
Love you guys.
Thank you very much, Henry.
Bye.
GG. Well,
You've got to include that.
I can keep that in.
Yeah, keep that in.
That's at least at the end. Black screen and that.